Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, sometimes RNG surprises you. The Dark Affiliation Card wasn't even on my shopping list this week, but somehow I got lucky and managed to pull one from the gacha box. Since I already have it, I thought, why not put it to the test and see if it's actually worth all the hype? To be honest, my Morroc isn't as optimized as it used to be. Ever since the Frost Core system and Himmelnez were introduced, I've been putting most of my resources into my physical DPS setup. At this stage of the game, I honestly think it's becoming harder to play every single job effectively. The investment is simply too high. Personally, I believe we're slowly reaching the point where it's much better to specialize in one or two jobs that you truly understand instead of trying to build everything at once. You'll end up performing much better that way. But even with my current setup, I still wanted to see how much this card could actually improve a Dark Element build in a real PvP situation. Before we begin, I'd also like to give a huge thank you to Uncle Nick and Inkym, Noob, for helping me with all of these tests. Without them, making this comparison would have been much more difficult. For the first test, I used my regular Morroc DPS build together with a water converter. Some of you might wonder why I'm still using a converter. The answer is pretty simple nowadays because of element level 2 and level 3 mechanics. Especially with cards like Alien Erinyes, simply relying on your original element isn't always enough anymore. Sometimes the best solution is to change the opponent's armor into an element they're weak against. And that's exactly where the Dark Affiliation Card comes in. Besides giving 15% additional dark damage, it also has a chance to convert the enemy's armor into holy. As we all know, Dark deals extremely high damage against holy, so on paper this card is almost made specifically for Dark Element. Jobs like Morroc and Kafra. Watching the testing footage, you can clearly see the difference once the effect activates. The damage jumps quite noticeably. For me, the increase was honestly better than I expected. The only downside is the activation rate. The proc chance is only around 10%. Which means you can't expect it to happen immediately. You need enough attacks to trigger the effect consistently. When it doesn't proc, the card feels pretty average, but once it activates, the damage spike is very noticeable because you're taking advantage of the elemental multiplier on top of the additional dark damage bonus. So after spending some time testing it, here's my conclusion. If you're playing a dark element focused job, especially Morroc or Kafra, I think this card is actually a very solid upgrade. It has excellent synergy with dark builds, and when the effect activates, the increase in damage is definitely worth noticing. However, there is one thing that I think everyone needs to be aware of before deciding to chase this card. This card doesn't just increase your dark damage. The important part is actually its ability to convert the enemy's armor into the holy element. For dark element jobs like Morroc, that's amazing because dark deals significantly more damage against holy. Once the effect activates, you can immediately see the difference in your damage numbers. Your burst becomes much more threatening, especially if you're able to keep your combo going while the debuff is still active. But this is also where things become a little complicated. Whether you're playing Magic Prison, War of Imperium, Guild versus Guild, or even high-level PvP, you're almost always fighting alongside teammates. Your elemental conversion doesn't only affect you, it affects everyone attacking that same target. For example, if you're playing together with an Alinea that's built around holy element damage, changing the enemy into holy property can actually reduce your teammates' damage instead of helping them. So you actually need to understand your team's composition. If your party is built around dark element damage, or you're the main dark DPS carrying the fight, then this card becomes incredibly valuable. Once it procs, the extra elemental advantage gives you a very noticeable increase in pressure, and you can often finish targets much faster. But if your guild or party relies more on holy element attackers, then using this card at the wrong time might actually lower your team's overall damage output. That's why communication becomes really important. Another thing worth mentioning is the activation chance. The proc rate is only around 10%, so don't expect every attack to immediately convert the target. It's more like a card that rewards jobs capable of attacking continuously. The more hits you land, the more opportunities you have to trigger the effect. Fortunately, Morroc is actually very good at maintaining pressure, so over a longer fight, you'll eventually see the card activating quite consistently. but when it doesn't, your damage simply returns to normal. So the card doesn't feel overpowered, it just has very high moments when everything lines up correctly. So after spending some time testing it, my overall opinion is pretty clear. I don't think this is a universal must-have card for every player, but if you're heavily invested in Morroc, Kafra, or any future Dark Element focused build, I think this card has real value. It complements the playstyle very well, and once you understand how the elemental conversion works, you can really take advantage of it. As always, don't feel pressured to pull just because a new card has been released. Think about your own build, your teammates, and whether it actually fits the way you play. Thank you so much for always supporting the channel. Take care, good luck with your pulls, and I'll see you in the next video.